All right, so in today's video, we're going to really talk about how to actually swing your arms. When I learned how to play golf, I learned from a guy that would always talk about how the swing is a golf swing. It's not really a golf hit. And I get daily in lessons, and I see it out on the golf course every day, people picking the club up and using their hands and arms way too much in the golf swing. They're not actually swinging their arms and swinging the club back and through. So today we're going to give a little introductory on how to actually swing your arms. So what I want you to do right now is, if you're sitting down, stand up out of your chair. If you're holding the club, go ahead and drop the club. We're going to get it first into a good posture that allows us to properly swing our arms. So you're going to stand up with good posture. We're going to unlock our knees. Right, so that would look like this: good posture, unlock the knees. I'm not adding a bunch of knee bend, just a little bit of knee flex. I'm going to keep my rear end underneath, try to keep my belt line pretty level, and I'm going to try to point my chest down towards the golf ball. That should give my arms room to hang, like two wet noodles pretty much. I want them nice and relaxed. So your posture should feel balanced and relaxed. One more time. Unlock the knees, keep the rear end underneath, keep the belt line level. Point the chest down to the ball. It is okay to have some roundness in your back. We found that this actually takes pressure off your low back. Here and here. Now, I want you to ball up your fists like this, and I want you to feel like your arms stay very relaxed and passive, and we're going to really exaggerate this at first. We're going to use our body to really swing our arms into motion. Now, notice I'm staying very centered, and my arms are starting to track a semicircle. I can direct the momentum of that semicircle in whatever direction I want. So I could direct it more low and around. We know that's not a proper way to swing. I can direct it more out and across. I can direct it more in and out. Or what I see on a more daily basis is an in and over. Right? So we don't want the figure eight look. We don't want the exaggerated in to out. We don't want any out to in. We want to direct the swing of our arms more back and through. Okay, so here's your swing plane simplified, right? We're taking all these mechanical thoughts in a golf swing. We're learning to use our body to just simply swing our arms in the right direction. Now, some of you may feel the want to place your arms into certain locations when you first try this. But I think you've got to learn to actually swing things. We're using the body to actually swing the arms back and through. There's some timing to that rotation that's going to require some work for many of you of keeping your body in the right position to actually swing those arms. And what I'm not going to do today is fill your head with too many thoughts. I want you to just learn to use your body to swing your arms. I have truly given the weight of my hands to gravity, and I'm just using my body to make my arms and hands move. So learn to make that motion. Learn to direct that motion in a more back and through path rather than in to out, rather than in figure eight back in the other way. Okay, so these are where many of your mistakes in your golf swings are coming from, and I think you can simplify some of those mistakes with this drill here. Once you feel like you've got a grasp for that, what we're going to do is just start with the chipping motion. So I've got my chipping set up here where I've got the ball slightly closer to the back foot, a little bit back in the stance, and I've got this lowercase y look in my arms. I preach that all the time. If you look at the shaft of the club and the arms, they form the shape of a lowercase y here. So I'm going to swing that shape. I'm using my body to swing that lowercase y back and through, right? So this looks a little ridiculous. I'm using a lot of range of motion here, but we can learn to hit chip shots like this just using the body. It's going to simplify the motion for you. And you're going to find, wow, my club bottoms out in a very similar spot every time. It kind of takes any thought away from trying to force the club head onto the ball. And I preach this every day. You've got to stop trying to force the club head to the ball. What you actually want to do is just hope and pray that the ball's in the way of your swing, that you've set up in such a position that you're moving your body in such a way that you just so happen to hit the ball. And I can't preach that enough. You know, it's hard to get people to think that way because we really want to make sure that the club head hits the ball. Why? Because we're used to being in control of things. Well, today's lesson is let's give up some control of the arms. Let's let that club actually swing back and through. Let's let gravity work for us. Let's let the club head and the weight of the club itself work for us instead of trying to force all these things. Then try to put your swing into a position where the ball's just simply in the way of that motion. So once you're comfortable with that chipping motion, we go ahead and graduate to a pitching motion. So we're still using the body to swing the arms. The only difference now is I'm allowing my wrists and elbows to hinge and load in the backswing. So I start to swing like this, right? I'm using my body to swing my arms. I'm very accurate in the place that my club hits the ground. Once again, I need to put the ball in the way of my swing. I'm not forcing the swing to the ball. I'm using my body to swing my arms. Wow, feels nice and simple, you know? I think we spend a lot of time studying the mechanics, overthinking them. Today we simplify them. Again, use your body to swing your arms. Let's start with that chipping motion. Graduate to the pitching motion. Then we can talk about, you know, your different ways of applying power in the downswing. You might have your more rotational players, you might have your throwers, you might have your swing and releasers. I think that's not as important today. I want you to feel and do what's most natural to you in the downswing, but I want you to feel that things are actually swinging, tracking that swing on the way back and through. No matter how you do this, you should still feel a more free swinging motion. Stop over controlling the club. Stop throwing the club at the ball. Instead, let that club swing through the ball. The ball just needs to be in the way of your swing. Learn to think that way. You're gonna get better faster. You're gonna have more consistent results, better ball flight, better compression, you name it. Simplify things. Enjoy this tip. See you next time.